tell time? Okay, let's go! What time is it? It's 1 o'clock. What time is it? It's 2 o'clock. What time is it? It's 3 o'clock. What time is it? It's 4 o'clock. What time is it? It's 5 o'clock. What time is it? It's 6 o'clock.
Hi Kipsters, happy Monday! Today we will use a clock to tell time when the minute hand is on 6. You did such an awesome job yesterday telling time when the minute hand is on 12, just like you see in that clock right there. Remember, our minute hand is the longer hand, or that red hand that you see on the clock, and it tells us how many minutes have passed in an hour. In every hour, we have 60 minutes. When that minute hand touches these numbers, and right now I have a clock right here, just like the one you see right there. When that minute hand goes all the way around and touches the numbers that you see and the little lines that you see, it's telling us how many minutes. For example, if the minute hand were to move and go to this little mark right here, it tells us that it is now 1 minute that has passed. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, until it goes all the way around back to the top for a new hour. So again, 60 minutes in 1 hour. And we can count each minute just like we did using the little marks on the side of the clock, but it's faster to count by groups of 5, like we do when we whisper count. There are 5 minutes from one number to the next number. So again, there are 5 minutes from this number to this next number. So if I go from here to here, 5 minutes have passed. If I add 5 more minutes, 10 minutes have passed. If I add 5 more minutes, 15 minutes. If I add 5 more minutes, 20 minutes. And you can see the pattern on that clock right there. We count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, all the way up till we get back to 60 or 0 minutes for the new hour. And now I'm wondering, Kipsters, what time will it show us on a clock when the minute hand is on the 6? So look at that clock right there and find the number 6. What minutes will we be on when the minute hand touches the 6? Let's see if we can figure it out. Kipsters, let's see what time this clock is showing us here. I see my hour hand, which is the shorter hand, is on 3. And I see the minute hand is telling us no extra minutes have passed. So it shows us that we are at 3 o'clock. And now I'm wondering which number is halfway around the clock. So where would the minute hand have to be for us to be halfway around the clock? Right, so let's move it, the minute hand, and let's see if we can get halfway around the clock. Well, we got to the number 6. Yes, if the minute hand were halfway between 1 hour and another hour, it would be pointing to the 6. And we call this time 3:30. Because remember, we were at first at 3 o'clock, and then we went halfway for the minute hand to touch 6, so it is now 3:30 because it is half an hour past 3 o'clock. And now we have to see how many minutes are in this half hour. Remember, we can count by 5s. So follow the little black arrow that you see so we can count by 5s. So we're going to say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So another way to say 3:30 is 3:30 because the hour hand is pointing to 3. We're not at 4 o'clock yet. We're still at 3. So the hour hand is pointing to 3 and our minute hand is showing 30 minutes. So one more time, Kipsters, what time is it? It's 3:30. And what's another way to say 3:30? Let me remind you. Another way to say 3:30 is 3:30. All right, Kipsters, we just practiced showing 3:30. Now I want to know what time it is now. What time do you think it is, Kipsters? The hour hand is on 4. The minute hand is on 12. It's 4 o'clock. All right, let's see if we can get to the half hour. So 4:30 and figure out what time it is now. Right, Kipsters, what time do you think it is? Let's notice where the minute hand is. It's on the number 6. The longer hand is on number 6. And I remember that when that hand touches 6, we are halfway between the hour. So we are at 30 minutes. So the minute hand is showing us 30 minutes. But what about the hour hand? Are we at 5:30? Nope, we're not at 5:30 yet because we haven't reached 5 o'clock yet. We're still on 4. So we would say 4:30. It's 4:30 or 4:30. Okay, this next one I'm going to have you do all by yourself. Let's see if you can figure it out. Kipsters, what time is it? Look carefully at the hands. What time is it? It's 5 o'clock. Amazing job. Let's see if you can figure out what time it is now. Let's see. Kipsters, what time do you think it is? Look at the red or hour hand really carefully. You got it. It's 5:30. It's 5:30 because our hour hand is still telling us it's 5, but our minute hand is telling us there's 30 minutes that have passed. So we are at 5:30. Let's see if you are right. Yep, we're at 5:30. Let's do 1 or 2 more actually. So let's go back to 5:30. And let's see if you can get this next one. Ooh, Kipsters, this one's a little tricky. What time is it? Notice where the hour hand is. It's on 6. So what time is it? It's 6 o'clock. Whoa, great job. Now let's see if you can figure out this next part. All right, Kipsters, what time is it? Is it 7? Nope. What time is this clock showing us? It's 6:30. Do you know why it's 6:30? It's 6:30 because the hour hand is a little bit past 6, but we're still at 6 o'clock. And our minute hand is showing us 30 minutes. So 6:30. And we were right, it's 6:30. Awesome job, Kipsters, figuring out the time when the minute hand touches the 6. Let's practice figuring out the times on these clocks that you see down there. It says write the time shown on each clock. Complete problems like the first 2 examples. So the first 2 are just examples of what our answers should look like. So we have letters A and B done for us. So I can see that letter A, it's 3:30. Notice that the smaller hand is a little bit past 3 and the minute hand is on 6. And we just learned that when that minute hand, the longer hand is on 6, it means we are halfway past the hour. So we are at 30 minutes. So it's 3:30. And we also know how to read a digital clock, which letter B shows us. And the way that we would say those numbers is it's 5:30. And now let's see if we can figure out letter C. Let's start with our hour hand. The hour hand is that smaller one that you see. So the smaller hand is our hour hand, and I see that it's a little past 11, which means we're at 11. But I'm looking at that minute hand. It doesn't look like we're at 11 o'clock. I see that longer minute hand, it's on the number 6. Do you remember how many minutes have passed when that minute hand is on 6? Hmm, 30 minutes have passed. So we are at 11:30. So our answer for letter C is 11:30. Okay, let's do these next three letters G, H, and I. Let's look at letter G. And I want you to have either a piece of paper or you can just say it out loud what the answer is for letter G. What time is it showing? I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to look at that clock, figure out what time that clock is showing. I'm going to write it down too. Right, Kipsters, did you figure out what time it is? It's 10:30. It's 10:30 because the hour hand is still showing us that it's on 10 o'clock. But our minute hand, the longer hand, is pointing to 6, and that means 30 minutes. So 10:30. Pat yourself on the back if you also got 10:30. Let's do letter H. Ooh, this one looks a little tricky. So let's start with our minute hand. I see the minute hand is on 6, which means we're at 30 minutes. And now the hour hand is a little bit past 6, but it is not 7 o'clock yet because we haven't reached 7. So it's 6:30. That clock is showing 6:30. Right, let's do letter I. I'm going to write the answer down, and I also want you to write it down, or again, just say the answer. What time is letter I showing us? I see the minute hand is on 12, and I know that means that 0 minutes have passed, and the hour hand is touching 7. So, what time is it? It's 7 o'clock. Letter I is showing us 7 o'clock. Okay, we just practiced with some problems. Let's see if we can do this X ticket and figure out what time does Lee do all the things that he does throughout the day. So Lee, in number 5, says Lee wakes up at, I want you to definitely write your answer down and figure out what time is it showing us that Lee wakes up. Remember to look really carefully at where that minute hand is pointing. All right, Kipsters, did he figure it out? Did he figure out what time Lee wakes up? 6:30. He wakes up at 6:30 because that minute hand is pointing to 30 minutes, and our hour hand, even though it's a little past 6, it's not 7 o'clock, it's still 6. So 6:30. Now let's see for number 6. He takes the school bus or the bus to school at, let's do this one together. I see that the hour hand, the smaller one, is a little past 7, which means we're still at 7 o'clock. But our minute hand, it's touching that 6, which means 30 minutes. So 7:30. He takes the bus to school at 7:30. Right, for number 7, this one do all by yourself. What time does he have math at? Look at the hour hand really carefully and look at the minute hand really carefully too. All right, Kipsters, what time does he have math at? Yeah, he has math at 10:30. Don't get confused with that hour hand, even though it's not touching 10 really closely. We can't say that it's 11:30 because we haven't reached 11 yet. So we're still at the hour 10. And our minute hand is telling us that 30 minutes have passed in this hour. So 10:30. Now for number 8, he eats lunch at, look at it carefully, where is that hour hand pointing to and where is the minute hand pointing to? I see that for number 8, the hour hand is a little past 12. So we're still at 12, we're not at 1 o'clock yet, and our minute hand is touching the 6. So 30 minutes have passed. So we are at 12:30. 12:30 is when he eats lunch. Awesome job, Kipsters. I'll see you tomorrow.